2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Welcome to the matchup today versus your Tabor College Blue Jays versus the McPherson Bulldogs. The Blue Jays come in today with a 27-14 record, 18-5 in conference. McPherson with a 27-18 record with a 6-15 in conference record. Brendan Wet Knight has finished his warm-up pitches and takes the mound for the Blue Jays. He comes in today with a 4-4 record with a 5.30 ERA. First pitch is a little high. First batter for the McPherson Bulldogs is center fielder Trevor Hayok. He comes in today batting .394 in the season with 2 long balls. The 1-0 stretch for Wet Knight is grounded to the right side and easily played out. The starting lineup for the Blue Jays: batting first, shortstop Yo-Yo Alisea. Batting second, center fielder Freddie Walker. Batting third, left fielder Jackson Hogue. Batting cleanup, right fielder Graham Weeb. Batting fifth, first baseman Cameron Pope. Designated hitting Wyatt Nowak. Batting seventh, third baseman William Clark. Batting eighth, second baseman Jaden Alsop. And rounding out the lineup for the Blue Jays, catching Dominic Vicentine. So 1 out, top of the first. Wet Knight delivers low. Up for the Bulldogs is catcher Dominic Ramos, who hit a 2-run shot in the first game yesterday. I beg your pardon, that was Friday. The count goes to 2-0. Weather at first pitch is a brisk 36 degrees. Baseball weather in April. The 2-0 pitch on the way. It is swung on and hit fairly deep to center field. Freddie Walker has a beat on it and easily corrals that in for out number 2. So exactly what Wet Knight wanted in the top of the first. 2 up, 2 down for a 3-hole hitter for the McPherson Bulldogs. First baseman Lane Fleming. Lane Fleming on the year is batting right around 400. 8 home runs on the year with 40 runs batted in. Wet Knight from the stretch. Strike. Wet Knight again delivers. Breaking ball a little bit outside. Didn't give him the chase. The 1-1 delivery. Right in there on the outside quarter for a call strike. The count goes to 1-2. Top of the first, 2 outs for the Blue Jays. Weather at first pitch on Friday was 75 degrees. And as I stated earlier, it is 36 degrees. And Dominic Vicentine thought that caught a corner. But the umpire says no. So we will go to 2-2. Wet Knight from the stretch. Fires it in there, and that's going to be up the middle for a base hit for Lane Fleming. So with 2 outs, the Bulldogs have a runner aboard on first base, and that brings up cleanup hitter, designated hitter, Isaac Taylor. On the year, Isaac Taylor is batting .290, no home runs, 4 RBIs. Has only appeared in 15 games for the Bulldogs. Wet Knight fires, just missed the inside corner. Fleming with a modest lead off of first. Wet Knight from the stretch. Fires in there, and it is nubbed to the right side. Alsop has to come a long way, but is able to make the play and deliver it to Cameron Pope. 4 up for the Bulldogs, no damage done, and we go to the bottom half of the first inning. Leading off for the Blue Jays is Yo-Yo Alicea. On the year, Yo-Yo is batting .421 with 14 long balls and 40 runs batted in. Not too shabby for your leadoff hitter. He takes a called strike at the chest. Breaking ball low in the dirt. The pitcher for McPherson is Javier Sainz. This is his 4th appearance on the year. He has a .450 ERA. Only pitched 6 innings so far this year. That is a ball high. Count goes to 2-1. He does have a 1-0 win-loss record. Yo-Yo hits it to the second baseman and easily retired for the first out. Up next for the Blue Jays is center fielder Freddie Walker. Freddie had a good game Friday against McPherson, stroking a 2-run shot to dead center field. On the year, Freddie's hitting .265, 2 home runs and 23 runs batted in. Takes a ball high. And that one is in for a called strike. Count goes to 1-1, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Freddie has taken 17 base on balls this year. Patient hitter. Takes that one high. Count runs to 2-1. Signs from the windup. Fires in the dirt. Count runs to 3-1. Not too many fans in the stands today, as it is 36 degrees here at game time in Hillsboro, Kansas. A lot of people are in the nice air-conditioned indoor facility that the Blue Jays have. And Freddie Walker takes ball 4, and there's a man on first for 3-hole hitter Jackson Hoagie. Jackson on the year is batting .420, has 8 bombs with 46 RBIs, enjoying a solid senior season. Walker with the good lead off of first. Signs from the stretch, delivers a little bit inside for the ball. 1-0 count. Jake Jones giving the sign from the third base side. Signs, delivers, and that is in for a call strike right at the knees. Jackson wants to know where that was. Looked a little bit low from my vantage point, but nonetheless, it is a 1-1 count. Freddie Walker takes his lead off of first. Signs from the stretch. That throws it to the first baseman, not nearly in time. Signs again from the stretch. And that ball is hit high to right center field, and the wind blew that all the way to right field as the right fielder puts that away for out number 2. The wind is blowing from your left to right, so from left field to right field, and that ball off the bat was hit to center field, but the wind pushed that all the way to the right fielder for out number 2. Coming up for the Blue Jays is cleanup hitter Graham Weeb. Graham on the year batting .333s, no home runs, 14 runs batted in. Freddie Walker tries to steal a second, and the ball arrived there in time to throw him out, but the second baseman could not corral it, and Freddie's in there with a stolen base. Man on second, runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Graham Weeb. Graham is a senior from British Columbia, enjoying a solid senior campaign. Sainz from the stretch. Breaking ball right down Main Street. 0-2 count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first for the Blue Jays. Runner in scoring position. Freddie Walker walked and stole second. Again, Sames from the stretch. Another breaking ball, and it looks like it was hit off of Weave's foot. Foul ball, and we will go to a 0-2 count once again. Sames using that breaking ball pretty effectively here in the first. From the stretch. Another breaking ball, and he gets Weave to chase. Out number 3, and 4 up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the first. No damage done, 1 walk, no runs. And we go to the top of the second. Brandon Wetnight is done with his warm-up pitches here, and we are ready to start the top of the second. Wetnight has had some very eventful games this year as he went 6 innings in a win against Midland, gave up 0 earned runs. He also went 7 innings in a game against York, gave up 0 earned runs, and again against Bellevue went 6 innings, gave up 0 earned runs. So he has the potential to go deep into this game without giving up too many opportunities to the Bulldogs. The count goes to 1-1 for Wetnight. Fires in there, misses a little bit high. The batter for the Bulldogs is left fielder Brevin Bassler. On the year, Bassler is batting .336, 4 home runs, 22 runs batted in. He is their 5-hole hitter. Wetnight from the stretch. 2-1 count. Swing and a miss. Brandon Wetnight is a junior from Riverside, California, by way of Chaffee Community College. One of many junior college players on this team, and at Tabor in general, as many sports have a lot of junior college transfers from California. And that is strike 3 for the first out here in the top of the second inning. Wetnight's first strikeout of the game. And up next for the Bulldogs is number 17, shortstop Dylan Fontenot, beg your pardon. On the year, Fontenot is batting .313 with 6 home runs and 39 runs batted in. Fontenot gets a swing and a miss. Wet Knight gets him to swing and a miss. 0-1 count. 1 out here in the top of the second. Another breaking ball in the dirt. They're going to check with the first base umpire, and he did not check his swing. 0-2 count. Wet Knight from the stretch. Another breaking ball outside, has a good pitch for a 1-2 count. Wet Knight from the stretch again. That is popped out over the first base dugout, and once again we will go 1-2. Fastball in there for a swing and a miss. His second consecutive strikeout goes to 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. So 2 up, 2 down so far for the Bulldogs here in the second. And that will bring up for the Bulldogs third baseman Mark Stryben. On the year, Mark is hitting just above 300. 6 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Wet Knight from the stretch. A swing and a miss, goes to 0-1 count for Wet Knight. So far this inning, he's done a good job getting ahead of hitters, throwing that first pitch for a strike. From the stretch again. Breaking ball in the dirt, fouled off, goes to an 0-2 count. So again, Wet Knight is enjoying a 0-2 count. He's enjoyed a lot of 0-2s and 1-2 counts this inning, resulting in 2 consecutive strikeouts. Can he make it a third? Fastball in there, popped up to the right side. Cameron Pope giving chase. However, that reaches over the fence. Foul ball, goes to another 0-2 count. And a swing and a miss. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the second, and 3 strikeouts. Wet Knight delivering here so far in the top of the second. Up first for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the second is first baseman Cameron Pope. And joining me in the booth is Tabor College ace Mitchell McIntyre. Mitchell, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. Glad to join you up here. Give you a little insider knowledge.
So with Cameron, what is his keys right here in this at bat?
Well, I know that they like attacking him with breaking balls. You know, he's a big body, big swing. As he drives one to first base, one hop, throw him out at first. He's got a good swing. He just, like I said, they're gonna attack him with breaking balls.
So that is one up, one down, and up is designated hitter Wyatt Nowak. Same thing for Wyatt. What is his keys for success today?
I think today that he needs to really focus on staying inside the baseball. You got the wind blowing out to right pretty heavily, and Tabor College famous for that short right field. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, the short porch and right. That is absolutely true. Leadoff man for Tabor, Yo-Yo Alisea, little left-hander. All he has to do is pop one up to right field, and that ball will go over the fence, no doubt. Wyatt on the year is batting .333 with 2 home runs and 10 runs batted in. The count is 1-1. And so with Brandon Wetnight, the pitcher today for Tabor College, what has he done well in the first 2 innings as Nowak swings and misses? The count goes to 1-2.
Well, he hasn't done a whole lot wrong, obviously. He just struck outside. Can't be too bad. He's getting a lot of swings and misses, and that slider's working pretty well today.
Yeah, absolutely. He's only given up 1 hit and hasn't walked any. So good day so far for Wetnight as the count for Nowak goes to 2-2. And Signs, the pitcher for McPherson, delivers. He's been bringing that breaking ball all day, and that ball is caught by the center fielder for out number 2.
Yeah, kind of an awkward catch there by the center fielder, but pretty good job by Wyatt to stay on that breaker, especially at 2 strikes.
Signs has been throwing a lot of those breaking balls today. So Mitchell, Friday, temperature at game time, 75 degrees, nice and sunny here in Hillsboro, Kansas. Then that cold front came in, and now it's in the 30s. So as a player, how do you mentally prepare yourself to play today, especially when it's so cold in April?
Base hit down the line there for Will right there. But for me, I hate throwing in the cold, so I was very happy to be able to get the start on Friday versus today. I think the biggest thing is once you get on their mound, you just focus on competing, and the cold goes away until you get back in the dugout, honestly.
I hear you on that one. I wouldn't want to play in the cold either. Will Clark with a hit down the third baseline. Third baseman for the Bulldogs could not make the play. And up next for the Blue Jays is their second baseman, number 55, Jaden Alsop. So the Blue Jays Friday swept the Bulldogs in a doubleheader, which was really big for them, pushing their conference record to 18-5 in third place behind Friends and Oklahoma Wesleyan. So come tournament time, what do you guys have to do to stay in top of the race in the conference?
Well, right now we're a game back behind Oklahoma Wesleyan, assuming we win today, that is. So I guess a game and a half right now. But it really comes down to next weekend versus Friends, where they're tied for us in second.
A win today will propel the Blue Jays to the same exact record as Friends. Will Clark trying to steal second base, but he is thrown out. Catcher for the Bulldogs, Dominique Ramos, able to block the breaking ball as Signs throws so many of those, and able to throw out Clark at second. So the 3 games next week against Friends, that is at Friends, correct?
Yep, that will be played at Lawrence Dumont Stadium in downtown Wichita. Really nice park. I've played there a lot. Big, so nice to throw in as a pitcher. But that turf can be a benefit for the hitters. As when you hit it in the gap, it kind of just keeps going.
It keeps going. Now, being a Wichita native, you're pretty familiar with that field.
Oh yeah, yep. Actually pitched in it this summer in the NBC World Series. Like I said, it's a big field, so you're not going to see a whole lot of home runs. But it is very easy to get triple, and even I could probably get triple at this point. Lack of speed.
So not looking ahead for the Blue Jays, but next weekend they do play at Friends with a critical series on the line in terms of rankings in the conference. Every year for the Blue Jays, they seem to have a big 3 when it comes to the pitching staff. This year, it is my man in the booth right next to me, Mitchell McIntyre, and also 2 other pitchers. The pitcher pitching right now, Brennan Wetnight, and Nathan Aruda, the native of Canada.
Yeah, and 2 other guys out of the pen, well, 3 other guys out of the pen that really need to be touched on that have also helped out a lot this year have been Hayden Wheeler, usually first guy out of the pen, throwing a lot of strikes, throwing that big breaker. Derek Watts has been solid this year, and then Tommy Slava striking out more than 2 guys an inning. That's incredible.
Tommy Slava is a flamethrower that comes out of the bullpen. He has been at Tabor for 3 years now. This is his second senior season, as he was granted that extra year of eligibility by the NAIA this year. Wet night from the stretch again to start the third inning. That's a ball high. Batting for the Bulldogs is center fielder Riley Martin. Martin on the year is batting .227 with 1 home run and 17 runs batted in. That is a strike right down Main Street. So coming into this series with the Bulldogs, was there any specific scouting report that you had on this team?
We know the first baseman Fleming. He's had a really good year. He's batting as of today like .399, so essentially 400. He's hit a lot of bombs, 8 bombs. The guy that surprised me the most, honestly, was the leadoff batter. He jumped on a fastball on me and stayed back on a 2-0-2 curveball as well.
Yeah, and the top of the lineup for the Bulldogs Friday doing a little bit of damage as a 2-hole hitter as well. The catcher hit a 2-run bomb in the first inning against Aruda, which was one of the rare solid hits that they had on him all day. The count goes to 3-1 with no outs here in the top of the third. Called strike on the outside corner. It is good to be here in the warm booth rather than being out there today, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I was one of the first people to volunteer to come inside. I will gladly say that.
And a swing and a miss for his 4th consecutive strikeout. Brandon Wet Night is dealing here in the third inning for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he makes a lot of use of his somewhat strange mechanics. I play catch every day with Brandon, and his ball kind of gets on you fast. He doesn't necessarily throw that hard. He sits around 85, 86. But with the way he throws it at you, it seems more like it's about 88, 89.
So a little deceiving in the sense of his fastball and his unorthodox mechanics definitely working for him right now.
Oh, no doubt.
As second baseman Jacob Shields digs in for the Bulldogs. Jacob Shields on the year is batting .265 with 0 home runs, 19 runs batted in. He's played in every game so far for the Bulldogs. Wet Night able to get a weak grounder, so no dice for the 5th consecutive strikeout, but he's able to retire him nonetheless. That brings up leadoff hitter for the Bulldogs, right fielder Trevor Hayok, which you touched on is not. He's a pretty good player on the year, batting .394, so almost 400.
Yeah, to me, what surprised me was the power. He hit a bomb off Tommy right before the end of the game in Game 2, and got a couple solid hits off me, honestly.
He digs in there, and a ball a little bit high from Wet Night. And as you pointed out earlier, the short porch in right field, and especially on a day like today where the wind is blowing from our left to right, all you have to do is put a ball in the air and it has a chance to get out of here.
Oh yeah, you gotta be thinking he's trying to pull a ball and, maybe put up a run for McPherson.
As we are deadlocked at 0. There's only been 1 hit recorded in the game today, as the Will Clark hit was counted as an error for the Bulldogs. And that is a 3-0 count so far in this at bat with Trevor Haycock, which he, as you pointed out, he's been on a roll this series, and maybe he's pitching around him a little bit, doesn't want to give up that hard contact as he throws that one in there for a strike.
Yeah, that kind of looked like a 3-0 slider right there. That was kind of interesting. Though not too surprising, because I actually threw a 3-0 changeup. So who knows?
And that is ball 4, as Haycock is their first base runner since the first inning.
Yeah, Haycock having a good series. He's been a real game changer for them. He's been one of the few, I'd say, bright spots that have really shown out this series.
Up next is catcher Dominic Ramos, beg your pardon. And he hit a home run in the first game of this series, and batting .377. One of his 4 home runs came here. Haycock with a modest lead off of first base. A breaking ball in the dirt. I believe he went, and yes, he did.
Got him on a check swing. Good slider there. Got him a chase. It's
contact by the Bulldogs, and he throws another strike right down Main Street for an 0-2 count. He's been doing that a lot, getting ahead of the count on these Bulldog hitters.
Yeah, 0-2. You gotta find a way to put a guy away here. Probably, I would expect a slider. Probably low in the zone here, but it looks like Dom's gonna set up high for
The location is right where the catcher wanted, but Ramos did not chase.
Yep. So that's a good setup pitch right there. So you'll definitely see probably a slider low here. Setting up the fastball up out there. Slider out.
Stretch. And as you called it, a low slider. Ramos didn't chase, so right now it is a 2-2 count.
Yeah, good discipline there by Ramos. If you're wet night here on the mound, you can go with anything, but you definitely gotta get in the zone.
Haycock still a modest lead off of first. Wet Knight from the stretch, and swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt, and that is out number 3, and that is Wet Knight's 5th strikeout, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd. The bottom of the 3rd for the Blue Jays is second baseman Jaden Alsop. Coming into today's game, what does Jaden have to do?
Jaden's got to find a way on base. He's got to find a way on base. Got to be a table setter. Find a way on. Get a good ball, but
Jaden's a junior utility player out of Stockton, California, by way of another junior college, Modesto. The count goes to 1-1.
He does have 14 walks on here, so he's found a way to get on base, despite not necessarily hitting.
Take another ball there. Count goes to 2-1. Thames from the windup. Jaden jumps on the ball but hits it to the left fielder, which is retired. So that brings up number 8, catcher Dominic Vicentine. Dom's calling a good game from behind the plate. What does he have to do?
Well, the thing that Dom's been doing really well lately is receiving the ball. He's been blocking really well, getting some strikes on borderline pitches. He's been great defensively, especially bats starting to come on too. We saw him Sterling,
Wow, that is a milestone for any player. Dom is a junior catcher from Oakley, California. From Butte Junior College. He jumps on that one just foul. About a 1.5 feet left of the line. Brings the count to 1-1. But as mentioned before, a lot of the Tabor players from almost every sport come from those California JUCOs. You can find them everywhere on campus.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of junior colleges in California. I always find it surprising that the California kids
Byzantine there. Are they going to say he leaned into the pitch?
Yeah, they said that he didn't try and get out of the way. It's a funky rule, but they have to also we'll take it sometimes.
In college baseball, does that count as a ball?
Yes, that is a ball. Yep.
So the count runs to 2-1. Science probably fastball in their high. But the junior college guys go from sunny California by the beach to Hillsboro, Kansas, where in April it is 35 degrees.
Yeah, I've lived in Kansas essentially my whole life, and this weather, it never seems to surprise me. It always seems to surprise you, actually, because you'll have, like I said, Friday was beautiful, right, 70 degrees, and now it's 30 or 40 outside today. Awful.
Just when you think you're getting out of the cold, when a nice day comes, there's squares in the forecast for the next day. Byzantine pops that one up to the left side. The pitcher and the third baseman are calling for it. And
man.
I believe it hit the glove, so it's a fair ball.
It did. Wow. Yeah, that's a ball that they teach the pitchers to go after it, but infielders are supposed to call them off, and it didn't seem like the third baseman called him off enough, honestly.
No, they both were chasing after it, and then they both were looking at each other, and it tipped the glove of the pitcher, Sains. So there is a runner on first base, and it's a courtesy catcher. Number 22, Blake Staniford, is running for the catcher, Dominique Vicentine. Brings up leadoff man, Yo-Yo Alicea. Mentioned before, he is batting well above 400 with 10 home runs and 40 RBIs.
Yeah, and I believe he is third in the nation in home runs, actually.
I believe that is more than 10. I think it is 14. We're going to give you a quick stat check.
Yeah, it is 14.
14 home runs, 40 RBIs, and from a leadoff man who is only 5'11", 165 pounds, from San Juan, Puerto Rico, by way of Cowley County Community College here in Kansas. Staniford with a modest lead off of first. Sains throws it over there. So with one out in the bottom of the third, Yo-Yo Alicea steps in with a 1-1 count. Man on first. And a ball outside. The catcher Ramos wanted to know where that missed.
Yeah, looked like a good curveball in the outer half, but must have just missed outside. Good pitch, but even better take by Yo-Yo.
And Yo-Yo did not like that call. Looked like it was below the knees right there.
Yeah, looked like something of a makeup call, to say the least.
And the pitcher for the Bulldogs, Sains, as I mentioned earlier, this is only his 4th appearance on the year. And so his arm should be fresh. And he's thrown a lot of breaking balls as there is a potential for a double play. The turn, and he is safe. Yo-Yo showing off the wheels to prevent the double play. He has plenty of stolen bases on the year, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's 23 out of 26, so he's kind of doing it all. He's making good defensive plays in the field. His OPS is over 1,000, which is
never bad.
Yeah, anytime that's happening is a good thing. He's got more walks than strikeouts. There's not a whole lot you can complain about Yo-Yo.
He's putting up Mike Trout stats. Coming to the plate now for the Blue Jays, center fielder Freddie Walker, who enjoyed a long ball Friday in the first game of the doubleheader. And that ball on Friday, the one he hit to center field, looked like it was shot out of a cannon.
Oh yeah, that was easily the farthest ball I've ever seen Freddie hit, and that easily got out. And the funny thing about it is their coach actually complained that it should have been a ground rule double. Yeah.
The ball did not get more than 15 feet above the ground. It was just a line rocket. And he digs in now with a 1-1 count, 2 outs. Let's see if Yo-Yo has the green light to steal right here to get a man in scoring position. See if Jake Jones gives Yo-Yo the green light. Jake, of course, the graduate assistant who played here last year at Tabor And Freddie grounds the ball to the pitcher. Easy play. So 4 up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 3rd. No damage done. And we go to the top of the 4th. Start the top of the 4th inning as Tabor College Blue Jay pitcher Brandon Wetnight is cruising right along with 5 strikeouts, only has given up 1 hit and walked 1 man. That brings up for the Bulldogs their 3-hole hitter.
Fleming.
Yeah, first baseman Lane Fleming batting around 400 on the year.
Yeah, like I said, really having a good year. He's the main bat out of their lineup that has done the most damage.
Let's see if Wetnight throws a lot of breaking pitches as he throws a fastball in there, just misses inside.
And I'd like to give a birthday shout out
as Fleming lines that ball and off the top of the fence for a very long single.
Yeah, that's what the short porch does to you. It can turn routine pop flies into home runs. We can turn hard hit easy doubles and singles.
So if you guys could not see that clearly on the webcast, Lane Fleming for the Bulldogs lined a ball off the top of the fence in right field, and he only got a single out of it. So it's kind of like the Boston Red Sox and their Fenway Park singles when people hit it off of their big wall. Wetnight delivers a breaking ball a little bit low for the Bulldogs. Batting now as designated hitter Isaac Taylor. On the year, Taylor is batting .290, no home runs, 4 RBIs. Wetnight does not go from the windup even when there are no runners on.
Yeah, I always found that interesting that he prefers to throw out a stretch no matter what.
It is working for him today as he's already piled up 5 strikeouts. But he does have a man on first, no outs here in the top of the 4th. Fires that one in there for a strike. The Bulldog hitter Isaac Taylor thought that was ball 4 and was already walking to first base, but we'll go to a 3-1 count. Wetnight from the stretch. Fires in there high, so man on first and second with nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. This is the first time the Bulldogs have really threatened so far today.
Yeah, they got 2 guys on, nobody out. This is the scoring opportunity they've been looking for, honestly. It'll be up to Wetnight to shut him down.
And shortstop Yo-Yo Alisea calling time to kind of spit a few words of wisdom to Wet Knight. You always like to see that from your senior. So digging in for the Blue Jays, number 20. Left fielder, Brevin Bassler, and he is squaring around the bunt, pulls back for a ball 1.
That pitch didn't look like it missed too much. Must have been a little bit high, but interesting strategy to be bunting here.
With a 5-hole hitter, you're essentially taking the bat out of his hands.
Interesting strategy. We'll see how it pays off.
As he squares around a bunt, but he swings and misses. Instead, Yo-Yo chasing down Lane Fleming, who was at second. So an unorthodox sequence of events right there, as the hitter, Brevin Bassler, squared around a bunt, pulled it back, swung and missed, and Lane Fleming was halfway down the line to third base, and catcher Dominique Vicentine fired it down there to Yo-Yo, who was able to easily tag Lane Fleming. So 1 out with the man on first, 1-1 count. Bassler pops it up, foul, out of play over the first base dugout.
Yeah, really interesting that they slashed right there. I thought it was weird that they were bunting in the first place, but even weirder that they slashed, because it's not like the defense or Tabor charged that hard.
And it did not play out in the favor of the Bulldogs, as Bassler offers and misses, and that is Wet Knight, 6 strikeouts. So far here in the top of the 4th inning, 2 outs, man on first. Coming to the plate for the Bulldogs is number 17, Dylan Fontenot, the shortstop. So going from a situation with the man on first and second with no outs, instead now we have a man on first with 2 outs. A shot to Will Clark, and he just sticks his glove out there, and he found the ball and easily threw it to the second baseman, Alsop, to retire the side for the Bulldogs. So at the end of 4, beg your pardon, at the
end of the top of the 4th, we have a score of 0-0 with Tabor coming up to bat.
Bottom of the 4th for the Blue Jays is Jackson Hoagie. The senior from Canada is enjoying a solid senior season. And let's see if he can stay back on any of the breaking balls that Sangs throws. And he offers at the first pitch and hits a bouncing ball to short. Throws the first for an easy out. Up next is Graham Weeb, another senior from the Great White North.
Yeah, back-to-back Canadians for us, but he will be getting pinch hit for us, surprisingly, by Cody Steinman, who, you know, pretty good strategy here. You got the wind blowing out to right. Cody, big left-hander with obviously a lot of muscle, and he easily hits it out to right in batting practice.
Steinman, a 6'1", 205 lefty, offers of that one, fouls it over the fence to the third base dugout.
Yeah, and to kind of touch on earlier, this is a big game for Tabor. They need to win, as Friends ended up winning today, 7-6. So with a win, they will both be tied in second place. Like I said, only one game behind Oklahoma Wesleyan.
And another big old loop-in breaking ball for Signs. Goes to an 0-2 count.
Yeah, good pitch there. He swung at fastball early, and keeping him off his balance with the breaking ball there. Let's see what he goes with.
Another breaking ball. Ramos did not like the call. He framed it nicely on the outside edge, but from our vantage point, it is hard to see the outside corner. So from the windup again, Signs delivers another breaking ball. Steinman's able to foul it off. So Tabor in conference, 18-5 record, as Friends has a won today, as you mentioned earlier, to go 19-5 in the conference. And Steinman offers at a pitch outside, and that is a strikeout.
Yeah, good job by the pitcher there for McPherson, setting up that fastball away. Threw two curveballs away in the same space, same place, and followed it up with the fastball. And out of the hand as a hitter, it looks like the same pitch, so it's hard to lay off it.
Coming up next is Cameron Pope, the first baseman. Has layers on today, as we mentioned all throughout the broadcast. It is cold out there. Fouls it off to the right side.
Yeah, trying to stay back on his pitcher. You can tell his mentality, this AB, is to, aim for that right-hand side of the field, because this pitcher doesn't necessarily throw that hard, but he's throwing a lot of pitches for a strike.
He's able to get a lot of weak contact with the breaking ball, but that is not weak contact. That is over the left fielder's head, and what a play. He changed directions about 6 times. The wind was playing games with that one. I thought it was going to drop for a hit for sure.
Yeah, that's that wind knocking it down. Hitting it to right field is definitely going to be the strategy today that'll work best.
And that concludes the 4th inning, and we will be back with the top of the 5th. In the top of the 5th inning is third baseman Mark Stryben, who is 0 for 1 with the strikeout so far today.
Good first pitch curveball there, or slider I should say, by Wet Knight, as Stryben is hitting .301 on the year. 6 home runs, so he's shown decent power as well.
He was definitely out on his front foot, not expecting any sort of breaking pitch.
Yeah, and one of the things I remember about him the other day on Friday is he loved swinging at that first pitch fastball, so expect a lot of first pitch breaking balls.
And that one is skied to right field. Steinman able to make the play. That's one of those rare fly balls to right field that doesn't carry.
Yeah, anytime it's hit to right field, you hold your breath as a defensive team, because it's got a chance to get out, that's for sure.
There have been many home runs hit here that looks like a routine fly ball, but it just ends up carrying out of here with a short porch.
Yeah, Jake Jones actually had a famous home run last year. There's a, as he fouls that one off, a concrete sidewalk just behind the fence, about 5 feet behind, and Jake actually managed to hit the grass in between the fence and the concrete.
Wow, so that ball probably didn't even go over 300 feet.
Yeah, no chance. It definitely defied physics.
As Jake Jones had a quality year last year, now a grad assistant here with the Tabor College baseball program, as he broke the record for runs scored in a season. Wednight with a breaking ball, a nasty delivery.
Slider's working well today. Yeah, and about Jake, the amazing thing about him is that the 3 years prior, 4 years I should say, because he redshirted his first year at Tabor, he was a pitcher and hadn't hit since high school in a competitive game.
Which is astonishing to think at the college level that you can just translate his abilities from pitching to hitting, and I believe he hit close to 400 last year.
Yeah, he hit 440, I believe, with one of the nation's leaders in batting averages. That ball is hit hard up the middle for a base hit.
And that was center fielder Riley Martin, I should say. And that brings up second baseman Jacob Shields.
Yeah, Jacob Shields played the first game, but didn't manage to bat in the second game. Not sure why. Maybe they run a platoon there at second base, batting at the bottom of the lineup.
In the 9-hole spot, Jacob Shields is 5'8", 148 pounds. From DeSoto, Kansas. Wednight with the delivery right down Main Street to get in the head of the count 0-1. Let's see if the Bulldogs run here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run, trying to get a guy in scoring position for their leadoff batter. Midnight threw a slider there, but umpire called time before, so it will be no pitch. The thing I would expect to see here is probably hit and run to make sure that runner ends up getting to second.
Still an 0-1 count. And that ball is fouled off to the right side. Ricochets back into play.
Yeah, that ricochet ended up going straight to Cameron Pope and got a nice cheer out of the dugout.
On a cold day like today, that probably brought a few cheers from the dugout. As we don't feel the cold, of course, up here in the booth, nice and toasty.
Oh yeah.
Wednight again from the stretch, as he always does. Delivers a ball in the dirt.
Yeah, good 0-2 pitch there, keeping it out of the zone. If a hitter chases, great. If he doesn't, you're still way ahead at 1-2, and you can attack him a different way this time.
He's had a lot of 1-2, 0-2 counts today.
It's a big key to pitching, getting ahead and putting yourself in a position where the hitter can't zone in on one certain pitch coming in.
Already has 6 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings. What's that ball just misses.
It looks like they were saying it was inside. The hitter, Jacob Shields, asked if it was in, and the umpire seemed to be nodding his head.
Wednight takes a second to collect himself, as I believe he thought that was a strike. Count goes to 2-2 here in the 5th inning. Runners going, and the ball is made contact with, and Alsop able to throw out Shields at first.
Yeah, but like I said, McPherson making sure that runner gets to second base with 2 outs for their leadoff hitter here, who has had a great series against the Tabor Blue Jays.
That was a solid play by second baseman Jaden Alsop, as he was running to second to cover the bag because the runner was stealing, but was able to make the play back to his left. The ball wasn't hit all too hard.
Yeah, and Jaden hasn't played a whole lot at second until recently due to the Kyle James injury, who had a high ankle sprain, but he will probably be back somewhat soon, likely in time for next week against Friends.
A swing and a miss.
Good slider there. You can tell that Haycock's looking for a fastball right out of the hand. He's hit a couple good fastballs well this series.
A lot of these Bulldog hitters are sitting dead red on the first pitch and expecting that fastball. Another swing and a miss at a breaking ball in the dirt.
2 times in a row. Let's see if he comes back to it I would actually probably expect fastball up out of the zone here, but we'll see what he does.
Let's see what Vicentin gets to call from the dugout.
Looks like he's not wanted up. Probably going to be a slider here.
And foul ball to the right side.
Looked like slider, might have been a changeup, but certainly off speed. We'll see if they end up offering his fastball here.
Aycock today is 0 for 1 with the base on balls, and that pitch just missed again on the outside corner.
Yeah, fastball outside. Dom purposefully sat up off the plate. Probably to set back up that breaking ball that will probably be low and in.
So 1-2 count with 2 outs here in the 5th.
Setting up outside again, though. Another fastball.
Fastball high runs the count to 2-2.
This is a good scoring chance for McPherson, as they had an even better scoring chance last inning. We'll see if they can convert here, or if Wet Knight can leave them stranded once again.
They haven't had too many chances with runners in scoring positions, as Aycock does a good job just protecting the plate, fouling that one off to the right side again. Wet Knight from the stretch gets the call from Vicentin. Center field, Freddie Walker getting a beat on it. Able to read the wind and record out number 3. So we go to the bottom of the 5th, score knotted at 0, and Tabor looking to take the lead. Leading off of the Blue Jays, designated hitter number 40, Wyatt Nowak, and Signs, who has only appeared in 3 games before today, is keeping the Blue Jay bats at bay.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's throwing his curveball off for a strike. He doesn't necessarily throw that hard, but anytime you can throw multiple pitches for a strike, you're going to give yourself a good chance.
That ball is fouled to the right side. Matter of fact, I don't believe Tabor has recorded a hit today.
Yeah, they ended up giving that hit down the line by Will Clark earlier in the air, which I don't necessarily agree with, but hard to argue with it now.
1-2 count as Signs gets ahead of Nowak. But you're absolutely right, Will Clark. That ball was shotted down the third baseline as Nowak swings and misses for the first out of the inning, the bottom of the inning.
Yeah, there's that curveball coming into play, like I said. Anytime that you're throwing multiple pitches for a strike, it's hard to zone in on a certain pitch, and hitters can get fooled.
Will Clark up for the Blue Jays, the third baseman.
And today is a picture-perfect day for Willis. He loves to hit it to right field. And the wind blowing out that way, we'll see if he can knock one over the fence.
That would be needed for the Blue Jays, as the score is still tied at 0. Neither team has gotten on the scoreboard. signs. And that ball is shot to left field. Base hit. The first of the days for the Blue Jays. Probably should be the second for Will Clark, but we can square about that later.
Yeah, Will's got 2 hard hit balls on the days. He's got to be feeling well at the plate, and he's obviously locked in, ready to go. Tabor's gonna have to find a way to get him on second base here.
Jaden Alsop digging in for the Blue Jays. The aforementioned Jake Jones giving the signals from third base. So if you're the Blue Jays right here, would you bunt or would you just hit and run? What would you do?
As a bunt, comes down by Jaden, and they'll throw him out at first, but Will advances to second. Yeah, I'm not sure what I would do there. Will's 7 of 10 on the year for stolen bases. You got to find a way to get him to second. But me personally, I'm never a fan of bunting unless you absolutely need it.
And with 2 outs, with the man in scoring position, that brings up catcher Dominic Vicentine, who had that pop-up in the infield that neither the third baseman or the pitcher could corral. A little bit of miscommunication between the two.
Yeah, and like I said, Dom, he started the year off struggling heavily at the plate, but like I said, recently he's picked it up big time for the Blue Jays.
Another pop-up. Let's see if the same fate can bestow on this one. Unfortunately, retired by the second baseman. And that brings us to the top of the 6th. Score still not at a 0. Catcher Dominique Ramos, as mentioned earlier, he's batting .377, having a healthy campaign with 4 home runs and 38 runs batted in.
As Wet Knight heads out for the 6th inning at 77 pitches.
That ball is drilled to the gap in left center. Freddie Walker had a nice beat on it, and that will be out number 1. Solid contact for the 2-hole hitter for the Bulldogs, but
yeah, good hit there, good piece, but Freddie obviously has lots of range out there, and he's fantastic defensively. In fact, last week against Sterling, the 3-hole actually hit a ball off me that would have hit the fence in the air, and Freddie ended up snagging it with his back turned towards me. Incredible catch.
Brings up Lane Fleming, the dangerous first baseman, as he fouls that one off to the right side. 0-1 count. Wet Knight is cruising along here in the top of the 6th. From the stretch. And Fleming throws the ball into center field. And I believe that is his 3rd hit of the day. He is 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Quiet 3 for 3.
Yeah, he's hitting it well today. He's seeing the ball well, and Like I said, his batting average is sitting at 400, and he's just helping it out more and more.
He was the one that had that long single off the top of the wall in right field. As they have a pinch. Is this a courtesy runner for the first baseman?
Pinch runner for the first baseman. Number 47. We'll get that name to you here in a second.
Number 47, Hunter Drilling. He's a sophomore pitcher and outfielder from Goddard, Kansas. That brings up the cleanup hitter, designated hitter, Isaac Tyler. Ball in the dirt by Wed Knight.
Yeah, and like you said, Isaac Tyler hasn't played in a whole lot of games this year, this only being his 16th game. Not a whole lot of chances, so interesting that they put him in the middle of the order.
You wonder if he's been hurt for any duration of the season.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good guess.
And another ball low, 2-0 count. Taylor ahead of the count. The man on first here in the top of the 6th inning with 1 out. Score knotted at 0. Neither team has yet to cross home. A modest lead off of first. As Vicentine fires to Pope, not in time.
Yeah, that was a big secondary lead. The runner ended up getting up first, and Dom threw it down there trying to nab him on the back pick, but just a little bit slow and a little bit off target there.
Wed Knight fires in there for a strike, and that the count goes to 3-1. On the day, Wed Knight has 6 strikeouts and 2 walks.
Yeah, really needs to make sure not to give this guy a free pass.
And that ball is shot down the left field line. That will be fair, and it'll be in front of Hoagie. Hoagie has trouble corralling it, throws into second base.
Yeah, really unfortunate that he bobbled that ball. He might have had a chance to throw him out at third, but given the bobble, he had to make sure to throw to second to make sure that Taylor did not end up getting a double out of that.
Isaac Taylor hit that one off the end of the bat, and Jackson Hogue was playing well off the line, but with his long strides, he was able to cut it off before any damage was done. As Coach Stanford comes to the mound to talk to Wed Knight, do you think there's anybody warming up in the bullpen?
Yeah, we can't see the bullpen from our vantage point, but there's certainly somebody warming up down there, and I would expect it to be left-hander Wheeler and maybe the right-hander Watts as well.
That concludes the meeting for Coach Stanford. Bachelor comes to the plate, the junior from Temple, Arizona, long way from home.
Yeah, kind of interesting here. The roster that we have lists him as a pitcher.
Playing left field today for the Bulldogs, and that ball gets by Vicentine, and there is the first run of the game, scored by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you can't get too mad at Vicentine there. That ball, it barely hit the dirt before hitting the grass on the infield, and that's an unblockable ball. It literally bounced over his head.
Very hard to judge those balls, especially if it's a breaking ball. Never know what type of spin you're going to get. I believe we're going to get another pinch runner here.
It looks like number 9, Joe Kraus, coming in. Utility out of Westminster, Colorado. Barstow,
McPherson able to strike off that wild pitch. They have another man in scoring position, so potentially 2 runs could come across this inning. A swing and a miss the count goes to 1-1.
Yeah, swinging through another breaking ball there. Like I said, Laisler loves swinging at that first pitch fastball, so expect a lot of breaking balls for him.
Wed Knight delivers another ball in the dirt. And And that is another tough one for Byzantine to get to. Believe that will go down as another wild pitch as the runner, Joe Kraus, advances to third with only one out. So all Bachelor has to do is put the ball in play to anyone that is not the third baseman or the pitcher.
Yeah, and that one you probably can't put on Dom. Well, it did hit the ground before it got to him. That's a ball that probably should be blocked. And he tried to reach at it, which they definitely do not teach the catchers.
But 2-1 count to Bachelor. Wet Knight from the stretch. That's 3-1. He needs to dig himself out of a hole right here.
Yeah, Wet Knight's starting to struggle here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this guy gets on that they go to the 10th.
Wet Knight cruised through 5 innings of baseball today and has found trouble here in the 6th as he walks Bachelor. Man on first and third with 1 out, brings up number 30, Mark Stryben.
Yeah, and another first pitch swinger here. Mark Stryben is, who loves swinging at that first pitch fastball. Actually, it's number 17. Sorry.
Beg your pardon. The shortstop, Bono, number 17, the senior from Los Angeles. Ball would be exactly what the doctor ordered, as there's only 1 out in the inning. Man on first and third, and Wet Knight gets ahead of Fontenot. 0-2.
Yeah, 0-2, and this is a big pitch here. Is Fontenot's definitely going to be trying to put in play to get that runner to score from third.
You have to be careful here if you're Wet Knight. You've already had 2 balls in the dirt that have gotten by to the backstop. You don't want a third with the man on third. And a swing and a miss.
Another good changeup. Like I said, when I first got on the broadcast here, Wet Knight was lacking a little bit of confidence in his changeup, but good to see him throw it there for a strike and get a nice swing and miss in a big situation.
And that is his 7th strikeout on the day. Let's see if he can make it 8, as that would be really well needed here for the Blue Jays in the top of the 6th. As now Mark Stryben digs into the plate. Stryben, a junior from Westville, Illinois, swings and misses with that one. As you predicted, he is a first pitch fastball swinger. And that ball was in the dirt.
Yeah, the thing I noticed when we were charting them the first game is that Stryben and Basler love to swing at the first pitch fastball.
Another ball in the dirt. Good stop by Byzantine, as the runner is trying to advance to second, and they have him in a rundown. And let's see what the runner on third decides to do, but they tag him out before the runner crosses the plate. So a solid play by Byzantine to fire down to second to get the runner before any damage was done. However, the Bulldogs do score as they now lead 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. bottom of the 6th. Leading off the inning is the right man at the right time. Shortstop, number 7, Yo-Yo Alicea. Leading the Blue Jays in almost every major offensive category. As he looks at a called strike, as Javier Sainz certainly has lowered his 4.50 ERA here today.
Yeah, that was a good first pitch fastball low and away, and you got the call.
Yo-Yo pokes that one into right field, and the right fielder for the Bulldogs makes a nice running catch. The right fielder is Trevor Haycock, their leadoff hitter. Retires him for out number 1. That brings up Freddie Walker, the center fielder for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Haycock making a good play there, staying on that ball. That's a tough ball to read, as it was kind of hit off the end of the bat and looked like it had some topspin to it.
I thought it was going to get down there in the right field corner, but good play by Haycock. And Sainz throws that one in there for a first ball strike. 0-1 count here with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. And Freddie Walker did not check his swing, or was that a called strike?
It looked like he called it a strike, actually. But, yeah, Sainz doing a good job lately, getting ahead of guys early on. And, you know, it's tough to hit when you're behind every count.
And Freddie pokes that one to the left side, going to get by the shortstop. I don't think he had to play at first base either way.
Yeah, Freddie too good of wheels. Even if the shortstop makes that diving play, there's almost zero chance of him throwing him out at first base.
Brings up Jackson Hoagie, the senior left fielder.
Yeah, and expect Freddie to run here. He's 28 out of 29 on stolen bases on the year, and they're definitely going to be looking to get a runner in scoring position for Jax.
And Jackson hits that ball to deep left center field. I don't think anybody is catching that one, as Freddie is going to be sent. Jake Jones is sending Freddie Walker. There will be a play at the plate, and he will be tagged out. Good play on a long hop by the catcher, Dominique Ramos, for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Jake's probably kicking himself there in the third base box for sending him home. Tough to make the second out of the inning on that, especially with Mr. Forehold coming up. But we'll see if Tabor can capitalize on it. Pretty good scoring position here.
We have to point out that the center fielder for the Bulldogs, Riley Martin, was able to cut that ball off before it went to the fence, and that made all the difference on that play for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, definitely got to tip your cap to him. He did a good job of getting that ball in, relaying it fast, and the shortstop didn't necessarily make the best throws. It kind of short-hopped the catcher, but great job by him to adjust and make the tag on an awkward play.
Cody Steinman digs in, as he was probably looking for some first pitch junk right there, but he got a fastball a little bit late.
Yeah, a little bit late, fouled it back. We'll see if he will end up giving him that fastball that he's looking for.
0-1 count. Here with 2 outs, he flies that one to center field. Riley Martin able to get a beat on it.
Ooh.
And pushes him back near the track. Tabor had a great opportunity to score, and however they could not, as the score through 6 innings is 1-0, McPherson leading. We'll be back for the top of the 7th. hitters are up for the McPherson Bulldogs. Leading off is third baseman Mark Strybon.
And Wet Knight's still out there for the 7th inning, despite being at 75 pitches. We'll see how long his leash is here in the 7th. As Strybon swings to the first pitch fastball, like I touched on earlier, he loves to swing at.
A lot of these Bulldogs hitters are looking for that first pitch fastball. Fouled off, and a big reason why Wet Knight has been so successful today is because he's gotten ahead in the count 0-2 and 1-2 early, as he's ahead of Strybon 0-2.
Yeah, once again, another good changeup there by Wet Knight, as Strybon literally hit it off the very end of his bat towards the first base dugout.
Shakes off Vicentin a few times. That ball is hit over to Yo-Yo Alicea, and throws it over to Cameron Pope to retire the first batter of the inning. So as we mentioned before, Wet Knight is at 95 pitches, has 7 strikeouts and 3 base on balls with 1 earned run today. That will certainly lower his ERA, as this has been a pitcher's duel all day.
Yeah, and Riley Martin comes up for McPherson, trying to get on base here to jumpstart another inning for McPherson.
Martin is 1 for 2 today with a strikeout. Beautiful breaking ball went for a first pitch strike.
Yeah, his off speed's been working really well for him. I think maybe on all 5 hits he's given up today have been on fastballs.
Both pitchers have their breaking stuff really working today. This ball is skied to right field. Let's see if that one stays in the park. Steinman onto the warning track.
Yeah, and like I said, there's one of those famous routine fly balls to right that at Tabor's Field can easily get out, especially with the wind blowing out there to right.
And as soon as that one was hit off the bat, you kind of could tell that it was hit fairly deep to right field, considering this is at Tabor's baseball field. And Steinman made the play with a couple steps on the warning track. That brings up the 9-hole hitter for the Bulldogs, second baseman Jacob Shields. Jacob today is 0 for 2. Has put the ball in play both times he's been to the plate. Pitch in there for a ball.
Yeah, and Jacob Shields, one of the smallest players for McPherson, listed at 5'8", 147. Very specific on the weight there.
That is very specific. He's not a overly big guy, as his weight would suggest, as he is batting on the year .265, 19 runs driven in, no bombs. And that ball is hit over to Yo-Yo, takes a big old Sunday hop. Jacob Shields flying down the line just in time to get him, but Jacob Shields was flying and fell, tripped over the bag.
Yeah, stumbled at first base there. Good to see him not hurt, but Tabor will exit the inning still down 1-0.
1-0 heading to the bottom of the 7th. first baseman, number 23, Cameron Pope. Signs is in there for the Bulldogs again as he has cruised through 6 innings so far.
And he gets ahead once again on the first pitch fastball that Pope fouls off. Pope coming out of Baker at semester actually. So big add-on, and it's been a big part for the Tabor offense this year.
He's from Lawrence, Kansas, a junior first baseman. 1-1 count. Foul that one behind the plate. 1-2. Science again getting ahead of the count as he's done so well. He's not a flamethrower by any stretch of the imagination, but he has induced a lot of weak contact today.
Yeah, and he has thrown that, like I said, his breaking ball thrown it for a strike a lot. As he goes to it again there, just in the dirt. But like you touched on, getting ahead a lot, especially recently, and that's helped keep Tabor off the bases.
And that is strike 3. Mr. Pope did not like that call.
Yeah, that's probably a pitch you got to swing at, though. 2 strikes, you can't leave it up to the umpire.
That brings up number 40, the designated hitter, Wyatt Nowak.
Nowak coming into this game hitting .333 on the year, and has added 2 bombs as well. So he's a big boy. He's got a lot of power.
And he hits that one to the gap to the left, to the right side of the infield, and able to get a single. Nowak is a junior from Kearney, Missouri, by way of Highland Community College out here in Kansas.
And don't be surprised if they pinch run for him here, which they obviously do, as they'll bring in Seth Lloyd to pinch run at first base with 1 out.
Seth Lloyd, the sophomore from, the sophomore from Enola, Oklahoma. And that brings up Will Clark, who's had a good day at the plate. He's had 2 hard hit balls. The box score says he's 1 for 2. Been on base both times. So Tabor with the runner on first, so 1 out. Will Clark digs in. Signs from the stretch. And that ball looked a little bit low and a little bit outside, but
yeah,
it was in there for a called strike.
Yeah, Will didn't like the call, but Signs once ahead, getting ahead of batters. I mean, doing his job up there on the mound.
He's definitely hitting the corners that is needed for a pitcher that doesn't throw all too fast, and another breaking ball up there.
And the key for him, just throwing everything for a strike, keeping hitters off balance, and like you said, pounding the corners where hitters watch pitches for strikes.
Very Greg Maddox-like. Doesn't throw all too fast, but throws a lot of pitches for strikes and paints the corners as he has gone 6 1/3 here today of no-run baseball.
Yeah, and you got a 1-2 count here. Don't be surprised if Seth Lloyd makes a move towards second.
And another shot by Clark through the hole of the left side of the infield. It's going to be a man on first and second with Jaden Alsop coming to the plate.
Yeah, not necessarily too hard of a hit ball as it seemed like it was off the bat, but a good job by Will to stay back on that breaker and poke it through a hole.
Interesting tidbit on the pitcher for the Bulldogs, Javier Sainz. He has only thrown 77 pitches so far.
Wow.
To compare, for Wet Night for the Blue Jays has thrown 103. So Sainz is not a strikeout pitcher, but he's had a lot of swinging strikes, a lot of weak contact early in the count to save him a lot of pitches.
Yeah, and this is likely got to be his best outing of the year so far.
As I mentioned earlier, this is his 4th appearance, has a 4.50 ERA. That certainly has been lower today. Only pitched 6 innings so far this year, so he has doubled his total, more than doubled his total here today. But a good opportunity here for the Blue Jays at the second baseman, number 55, Jaden Alsop digs in with the man on first and second, and he shoots that one up the middle. Let's see if Jake Jones gives him the green light. Riley comes in throwing. Seth Lloyd to the plate. It's a bang-bang play, and he's safe at the plate.
Oh, Seth coming up, grabbing his hand. He kind of slid in head first there, and it looked like he slid his hand straight into the catcher's either shin guard or cleat. That probably doesn't feel too good, but Tabor gets on the scoreboard.
The catcher, Dominique Ramos of the Bulldogs, was blocking half the plate, but half the plate was free for Seth Lloyd to touch, which he did, but was able to get a lot of contact on that wrist.
Yeah, Seth didn't seem to help himself out there too much either. He kind of stumbled when he rounded third, and honestly, as a Tabor fan, you're pretty happy he kind of just stayed upright without falling over.
So that knocks the score up at 1, and it is another great opportunity here for the Blue Jays, as there's going to be a man on first and second with 1 out, and the McPherson coach comes to the mound and wants to talk it over with his pitcher.
Yeah, they're gonna talk about him, trying to settle him down, tell him that, try and make sure to keep with this mojo, getting ahead of guys. They obviously have a lot of faith in him though, because they do not have anybody warmed up in the bullpen.
There is no action. They have a guy over there stretching, but nothing other than that. So right now that they may be going over a scouting report on the Tabor hitter, catcher Dominic Vicentine.
Yeah, and Vicentine, like I said, lately has been hitting the ball very well. The pitches he's been hitting the most, especially, is that fastball. So don't be surprised if they start him off with the first pitch breaking ball here.
And that might exactly be what the coach was saying to Signs, saying that he wants a lot of breaking balls, because that has honestly been his best pitch of the day. And Tabor batters have been offering at it all afternoon.
Yeah, and with runners at third and second, definitely not the best situation for Signs up there on the mound, especially with Yo-Yo Alisea on deck.
And that is a man that you want to see come to bat this inning. Vicentine offers at the first one, pops it up right in front of the catcher as he makes the play. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. As you said, the man of the hour, Yo-Yo Alisea, the man you want up.
Yep, and Signs throwing that first pitch breaking ball like I expected he would. And Dom's really struggled today. That's his 3rd infield pop-up, so got to be kicking himself a little bit there. Let's see if Yo-Yo can pick him up.
Right now in Hillsboro, it is 37 degrees. At first pitch, it was 36 degrees, and of course, with the first base open, they intentionally walk Yo-Yo. I think that is a smart play by the McPherson coach.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that play. Yo-Yo's been the best player for Tabor this year, and you can't let him decide the outcome of this game,
especially with the base open.
Yep.
So base is loaded for center fielder Freddie Walker, who has already had a home run in this series, but we would take a base hit right here. So with 2 outs, the first pitch is in there for a strike. Another corner hit by Signs.
Yeah, the umpire seems to have a slightly bigger zone. Can't blame him with how cold it is today, but Signs keeps hitting it right where the umpire wants it.
Here comes a breaking ball again, same place on the, and Freddie shaking his head. 0-2 count with 2 outs.
Yeah, the hitters, they don't like that pitch, because in reality that's probably not a strike, and because it's so tough to hit. But Signs keeps throwing it there, so you got to adjust as a hitter.
Signs seeing that the umpire's calling it a strike in the exact same place. I am not exaggerating.
Wow.
And the umpire calls that a ball. Half of the McPherson field was going to the dugout, and they had to stop.
Yeah, Signs himself, it looked like, took a few steps sprinting off the mound.
The ump has been calling that pitch a strike all day, as you mentioned earlier. It probably is not, but Signs has been exploiting that and painting that corner all afternoon as he throws another one in there for a ball. Count is 2-2, 2's across the board with 2 outs.
Yeah, we'll see if Tabor can capitalize here, as that was a big call to call it a ball.
And Freddie offers at a breaking ball right down Main Street, and that is strike 3. However, Tabor does score their first run of the afternoon to knot the score at 1 as we go to the top of the 8th. the bullpen we have.
We got Hayden Wheeler, and Hayden is out of Pratt Community College. This will be his 16th appearance on the year, so he's not too unfamiliar with coming into the game. He's got a 3.28 ERA on the year in 24 2/3 innings, 22 strikeouts in those innings, and 19 walks. So obviously he's walked a lot of guys, but he seemed to get himself out of trouble for the most part.
And he has the opportunity to hold it for the Blue Jays here in the 8th inning. And you got the top of the lineup, the 1, 2, 3 hitters for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and with Trevor Haycock coming up, probably see that first pitch curveball as he actually throws a fastball.
That's a nice pitch to lead off the inning.
Yeah, right on the corner, right where you want it. Hayden, most well known for his curveball that he comes in, big breaker. As he throws another fastball.
And he's quickly ahead 0-2 on Haycock, one of their better hitters.
Yeah, just the situation you want to be in as a new pitcher coming into the game. Put himself in a position for his 23rd strikeout on the year.
Wheeler from the windup. Breaking ball gets him to hit it weakly to the first baseman. Cameron Pope covers the first base bag nicely for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people don't realize how tough of a play that is. The first baseman Pope actually throwing it overhand towards a running Wheeler to cover first base, and very easy for that play to go wrong and end up in the dugout.
They made that play look very routine right there. But as you mentioned, very difficult play, especially for the pitcher, as he digs in versus their number 2 hitter, the catcher, Dominic Ramos. A little lefty versus righty action. Wheeler from the windup. That ball is shot foul. So for the day, starting pitcher for the Blue Jays, Brandon Wetnight, went 7 innings of 1-run baseball, striking out 7, walking 3.
Enough to notch him a quality start, which is 6 innings pitched and 3 earned runs or less, easily matching that mark.
And Freddie Walker, Will Clark, unable to come up with that ball hit to the third base. As Dominic Ramos is on base, they're going to come in with a courtesy runner, as he is the catcher, and you're allowed to do that. That brings up their 3-hole hitter.
Yeah, Will decided to charge that ball off the bat, which initially seemed like a good idea, but ended up kind of short-hopping him and made a tough play. Bet he's kind of kicking himself, wishing he would have, let the ball get to him a little bit so he could have got on a bigger hop.
It's a tough play for him because he has to make that decision right away as he's playing the hot corner.
Yes.
Doesn't have too much time to think whether to charge in or stay back on it, but as you said, it's probably better to stay back. But nonetheless, we got a man on first. We're 1 out with first baseman Lane Fleming, who is enjoying a 3-for-3 day.
Curveball in the dirt that ends up getting to the backstop, and the courtesy runner Trent Smith will advance to second.
So right now, if you're McPherson, you're feeling pretty good as you have your best hitter on your team up with the runner in scoring position here late in the game.
And not just your best hitter, but he's also hitting the ball very well today, as he's 3-for-3, and all 3 balls he's hit have been pretty hard.
And I believe this is a great call by the Blue Jay coaching staff, as they're going to give him a free pass to first.
Yeah, same situation as Yo-Yo being up last inning. You can't let the best hitter affect the outcome of the game, where you can let maybe a guy that hasn't done as well on the year get the opportunity. Plus, it sets up the double play here.
And this brings up Joe Cross, who was the pinch runner earlier in the game, and we're going to try to give you some statistics on him today, on the year.
I believe he did the same thing in Game 2 the other day.
Wheeler from the stretch. Beautiful pitch in there.
Strike on a good fastball high there. Wheeler getting ahead of guys a lot, so that's good to see. We'll see if he can induce a much-needed double play for Tabor here.
So on the year, Joe Cross is batting .263 with only 1 RBI. He hasn't had too many chances. He's appeared in 19 games. However, he only has 19 at-bats.
Yeah, I'm not too certain, but I'm fairly certain he came and pinch ran and actually ended up hitting in game 2 the other day on Friday as well. So interesting to see them do the same strategy here.
With the man on first and second, with 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Wheeler from the stretch again looks to run it back at second, delivers, and beautiful pitch.
Yeah, Wheeler actually does not have a changeup, so that looked like it might have been the cutter there. Not as fast as fastball, but obviously got Kraus to freeze at it.
How many pitches does this the relief pitcher Hayden Wheeler? How many pitches does he feature?
He features fastball, curveball, and cutter. You'll see that he really enjoys throwing his curveball at 2 strikes, as he actually throws fastball high there.
And a chance for a double play ball, and a great turn by Jaden Alsop to get the Blue Jays out of a jam here in the 8th inning. Good job by Hayden Wheeler. Had a man on first and second to induce a ground ball to Will Clark, able to throw it to Jaden Alsop to Cameron Pope for the double play. We will be back in the bottom of the 8th. We are deadlocked at 1 here at Tabor. Leading off the inning for the Blue Jays is left fielder number 16, Jackson Hoagie. Let's see if he's hit a double back in the 6th inning. Let's see if he can make solid contact again, as he is hit by a pitch on the very first pitch of the at-bat.
Yeah, Signs, he's thrown pretty well today, besides right there hitting Jackson to lead off the inning. So far, coming into the inning, he's only at 90 pitches through 7 innings with 5 Ks, 2 walks, 1 earned run. He's also surprisingly a freshman, but obviously not throwing like one, that's for sure.
He has come into today only throwing 6 innings pitched on the year, not used too much until today, and he has more than doubled that total going into the 8th inning here today. Cody Steinman is the next batter up for the Blue Jays. He checked in the 3rd inning to play right field for Graham Weeb. Jackson Hoagie has decent speed, long strides for the senior from Canada.
But takes a ball. Interesting that they're going to bunt with Steinman, as we obviously know he has a lot of power, but hasn't necessarily converted a whole lot of it onto the field this season.
And the wind is still blowing towards right field. So it is an opportune time for a fly ball, but Steinman lays down a beautiful bunt. I don't think anybody's going to cover the bag in time.
Yeah, and that's just a perfect picture bunt. The first baseman has to field that ball in order to make a play, and without the pitcher beating Steinman to the bag, it's just impossible to throw him out.
You had pointed out earlier how difficult of a play it was for Hayden Wheeler to get over here to cover first base, and that was a picture-perfect example of a pitcher not being able to get to first base in time.
Yeah, and you can't necessarily put down Signs either, because I mean the hitter's got a running start out of the box, and that's just a tough play to make, and not a whole lot you can do about it defensively. You just gotta tip your cap.
There is action in the McPherson bullpen, as number 2 is not listed on their roster. We will try to get you a name for him shortly, but the coach is out to talk to Signs, as He has a man on first and second with nobody out. The Blue Jays threatening to go ahead here in the bottom of the 8th. The pitcher warming up for the Bulldogs is number 2, Jake Herman.
Jake Herman coming out of San Diego, California. We cannot find his classification, as he's actually not listed on our paper in front of us. But this will be his 6th appearance on the year. And he comes into the game with a 1.88 ERA and 10 innings pitched, so seen a lot of success so far.
So digging in for the Blue Jays is their first baseman, number 23, Cameron Pope. They're going to leave Signs in there. Pickoff attempt at second is not in time.
Yeah, interesting that they leave Signs in there, as he's obviously thrown a lot of pitches. He's done well on the day, but you got Herman in the pen, who's had a fairly good year, and I guess they're going to trust their freshman.
The freshman is in uncharted waters as he's only thrown 6 innings on the year. Good stop by the catcher Ramos.
Yeah, that's a big stop there, because if that ball gets back to the backstop, first and second's a lot different than second and third.
I believe McPherson thought that Pope was going to bunt as they were shifting their defense in order for the third baseman to charge, but Pope was not offering. Signs again from the stretch. Pope is bunting this time. Signs corrals himself in time to throw to first for the out, but the Blue Jays have ducks on the pond with a runner at second and third with 1 out.
Jaden Alsop coming up to bat. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Seth Lloyd, who came to pinch run for Wyatt Nowak earlier. Seth Lloyd's hit fairly decently on the year, with a .333 batting average and 6 ABs on the year, so hasn't gotten a whole lot of opportunities, but he's converted on, a pretty fair amount of them.
The sophomore from Oklahoma up in a big spot here this afternoon. And the pitch by Signs in there for a called strike.
Yeah, and like you touched on earlier, Signs has been pounding those corners all day, and those are just tough pitches to hit as a hitter, so as long as the umpire's going to keep giving it to you, might as well keep throwing it there.
This is arguably Seth Lloyd's biggest at-bat of his Tabor career, and a big-time opportunity here for him in the bottom of the 8th as he swings and misses at that one as it goes to an 0-2 count with 1 out. He needs to put the ball in play here as the McPherson defense is all in.
Yeah, McPherson defense playing in. Their middle guy, especially their second baseman, a little bit farther back than their shortstop, so hitting it to him is probably their best option.
And Seth Lloyd flies out, pops out one to the right fielder, shallow. He'll have a play at home if Jackson decides to go, but it is not. The ball was not hit far enough to advance the runner home.
Yeah, that ball is hit too shallow. Tabor's got that short right field anyway, and that ball didn't even make it to the middle of the outfield, so impossible for Jacks to run there.
The right fielder, Trevor Haycock, was battling the sun there for a little bit as the sun would be right in his eyes, and that brings up Will Clark, who's had 2 hits on the day and has hit the ball pretty solidly 3 times.
Yeah, if you're Tabor, this is honestly the guy you probably want up beside any guy besides Yo-Yo Alicea.
Signs still in the game. Breaking ball. Clark one hop to the shortstop, but the shortstop in time to the first baseman, Ian Fleming.
Yeah, and Will's not too happy with himself, but I mean that was still a pretty well hit ball, and sometimes well hit balls get converted into outs.
Absolutely. The Blue Jays threaten with the man on second and third with only 1 out. However, they have no runs to show for it as Hayden Wheeler will warm up to start the top of the 9th. We'll be back here shortly. We have completed 8 innings here at Tabor College, and the score between the McPherson Bulldogs and the Tabor College Blue Jays is knotted up at 1. Leading off for the McPherson Bulldogs to start the night are the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Left fielder Brevin Basler leads off.
Basler coming out of Tempe, Arizona, and it's impossible not to touch on the remarkable job that Sines has done on the mound for McPherson today, especially coming in this game with only 6 innings pitched on the year, and to top that off, being only a freshman.
Basler rockets that one into right field, and arguably the most impressive thing that Sines has done for the Bulldog was navigate his way out of trouble last half inning, as the Blue Jays had runners on second and third with 1 out.
Yeah, that was big time for him, and big time for the McPherson Bulldogs as a whole, trying to avoid the sweep from Tabor, as it looks like they're going to pinch run for Basler with Trent Smith.
And Basler is a left fielder, so I don't think he runs poorly, but they must think Smith has some wheels, so that is something to look out for.
Yeah, Smith, being the courtesy runner, will not allow him to run for Ramos anymore. But obviously he must have good enough speed, as they really, really want him on the bases here.
That is something to keep track of for sure. And for all you basketball fans, right now the Indiana Pacers are giving it to the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. I'm sure that makes a lot of people happy. So Hayden Wheeler coming out of the stretch here in the top of the 9th inning with nobody out, man on first.
Number 16, Justin Risdale, coming up to the plate, I believe as a pinch hitter.
It is his first.
Yeah, he's a freshman out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Vista Ridge High School.
He's going to be asked to bunt here.
Squaring to bunt.
As
gets it
that ball,
down
I thought
foul.
it hit him.
No, yeah. It looked like it may have hit his bat when he dropped it, but ended up bouncing foul. As Dom Byzantine smartly letting it bounce foul, as he very easily could have fielded it fair.
And the batter, Justin Risdale, is batting .263 on the year. Does have 1 home run with 7 runs batted in.
Yeah, don't expect him to hit another one here, as he's clearly in to bunt and to get Trent Smith over.
And he squares around again to bunt. Wheeler delivers to the plate, and another foul bunt. So interesting that the Bulldogs pinched hit Risdale, probably because he is one of their better bunters on the team, but he's unable to lay any of those first 2 pitches down.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough situation to put a freshman in. Big scenario in the game where you're asking him to, execute, and sometimes the pressure can be too much for young guys, although it hasn't been for Sines on the day.
Sines has delivered for the Bulldogs, as he has gone 8 innings of 1-run ball, and 2-strike count, and Risdale is squaring around a bunt again. Byzantine fires it down to first base, not in time to get the runner, Trent Smith.
Yeah, good idea by Dom to back picks there. Kind of scary, though, however, is you see sometimes those balls end up in right field and turn that single into a double or a triple.
At this point in the game, you do not want that if you're the Blue Jays. Wheeler, again from the stretch, delivers high. Last inning, Wheeler had a workout of men on base, as he had a double play ball to Will Clark. Let's see if he can work around an early base runner in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, and interesting that Risdale was still squared to bunt there despite there being 2 strikes.
So as a pitcher as you are, would you, if a player was bunting, and that is a good bunt, and no one is going to field that one, as the first baseman Cameron Pope was charging, and the second baseman Jaden Alsop was covering first base, and Justin Risdale was able to bunt the ball hard enough to get past the pitcher to the second base side of second base where nobody was, and Yo-Yo Alisea was the one that eventually came and got the ball. So right now, if you're McPherson, you're feeling good with the man on first and second with nobody out.
Yeah, and that's just a picture-perfect push bunt. As you touched on earlier, Jaden's running there to cover first base. Ideally, he should still be staying home there for that push bunt, but like I said, he hasn't played a whole lot of second base this year, and it kind of came back to bite Tabor in the butt, where a guy made a good bunt and he wasn't there. and it puts Tabor in a tough position with 2 guys on, nobody out, and obviously a fast runner at second base and likely another fast runner at first base.
So Coach Staniford wants to come out to the mound to give Hayden Wheeler a few words of wisdom. And that brings up McPherson, who has done this damage this inning with the bottom of their lineup.
Yeah, Mark Strybin coming in, and like I touched on earlier, he loves to swing at that first pitch fastball. We'll see what they offer him here.
Strybin on the day 0 for 3 with a strikeout, and he's scoring around a bunt. Wheeler with the breaking ball in there for a ball.
Just a little bit high there. Not surprising in this situation that they're bunting, as they could definitely use second and third with only 1 out.
At this point in the game, you definitely just need one run, and you would be happy with 2. And they have an opportunity to get 2 men in scoring position with less than 2 outs, with 1 out, as a matter of fact, and pick off play at second, not in time.
Yeah, this is a big scenario here. If you're Strybin, you're obviously trying to get the bunt down, ideally down the third base line, to force the third baseman to field it. That way they're unable to convert the out at third.
So Wheeler from the stretch again with the 1-0 count. Fires it in there. He may have a play at third base. He's going to have to go back to first. It's going to be tough. And Alsop is not able to corral the ball in the dirt, and a run will score for McPherson with the man on second and third with nobody out.
Yeah, that's a tough play there, as Wheeler wanted to throw the ball to third, but probably a good decision to end up throwing it to first, as he wouldn't have had enough time to get him at third base. And unfortunately for him, he ended up short hopping Jaden at first base.
And Mark Strybin, the man who bunted that, showed off some pretty good wheels, as he was able, I think he would have beat that out either way if Jaden was able to pick that out of the dirt.
Yeah, it would have been a bang-bang play. Probably would have been safe, but the fact that it got past Jaden puts guys at second and third with 0 outs, and Tabor really needs to get out of this situation, which is why they're going to bring in Tommy Slava out of the bullpen.
And Tommy Slava is the hard-throwing right-hander.
Struck out 3 guys the other day in his appearance in Game 2 on Friday, despite giving up a home run to the leadoff man, Haycock.
Tommy is a 6'2", 195-pound senior from Pleasant Grove, California, by way of Yuba Community College.
And he's put in a tough scenario here, but honestly, the perfect scenario for Tommy is he's your best strikeout guy, and the fact that he strikes out more than 2 guys an inning, and you no doubt need strikeouts here. Balls in play hurt you defensively because they can allow that guy from third base to score, and being down by 1, you know, while it sucks, it's doable. Being down by 2 is obviously tougher.
And if you're Tabor, this is the right man that you want in this scenario. As you mentioned, he strikes out more than 2 batters per 9 innings, or per inning. And so Tommy, as we touched on early in the broadcast, has a unique story. Yes, he was a senior last year, but he was able to appeal to the NAIA to get a 5th year of eligibility.
Yeah, he ended up getting hurt at Yuba College, where he, I believe in his freshman year, he only ended up throwing 3 innings, and he appealed that for a medical redshirt.
And Tommy, for a while, has been a mainstay in the Tabor bullpen, as last year he was one of their go-to guys in situations just like these. As this is a big spot here, as Tabor is looking to sweep the Bulldogs, but however, the Bulldogs have already scored 1 here in the top of the 9th with the man on second and third with nobody out.
Yeah, and Riley Martin coming up to the plate, the senior outfielder out of Auburn, Kansas.
He is their a-hole hitter, so Tommy is facing the 8 and 9 hitter of this Bulldog lineup. And that one's a little low for a strike.
Tommy throws hard. Sometimes can have inconsistencies being in the zone, but that can sometimes be a good thing, as it can make hitters chase bad pitches.
And Riley swings at that one. It's going to be a little pop-up, and Pope had a beat on it. It was in play. However, the sun was in his eyes, and he was unable to locate the ball. It would have been an easy play if the sun was not in his eyes and the runner had no chance of advancing home.
Yeah, that was certainly catchable. He's probably not too happy with himself, but that's a tough play with that sun in his eye, and Martin will be given a second chance.
So Slaver from the stretch fires in there. It's a bunt. It's a squeeze play at home, and it is going to work out for the Bulldogs as Martin Riley, the center fielder, laid down a beautiful bunt, and the Tabor Blue Jay catcher, Dominique Vicentine, was pulled away from the plate, which allowed the runner from score to score. So an unfortunate series of events.
Yeah, that play at first really kills you there. And actually, Tabor was fortunate that Martin was not heads up in that scenario, because nobody, and I mean nobody, was even close to second base, and he could have very easily have ran to second.
So a man on first and third and nobody out, and the bottom of the Bulldogs lineup has done this damage here in the top of the ninth. Slava again from the stretch, the infield in, and another squeeze play. They have a man if they want him down halfway down the third base line.
Oh, he hit him.
And the runner advances from first, and Vicentine hits the runner, number 30, Mark Strybin, at third base as they had him in a rundown. However, he is able to get back to third base safely as the ball went off his backside.
Yeah, that's just poor execution by Tabor. They teach you to set up inside the bag to make sure you don't hit the hitter. So both the thrower and the guy catching the ball are supposed to be inside to not allow that to happen. But obviously, some miscommunication was made there to where I'm not sure if Dom wasn't inside or Will, but it looked like it probably was Dom.
And Jacob Shields, the 9-hole hitter for the Bulldogs, looks at that pitch. I don't know where it missed. It looked good from here.
Yeah, it must have been a little bit high. Still a tough scenario here for Tabor, is you're once again second and third with nobody outs, and now down by 2. Definitely need a strikeout here.
There's a 1-1 count for Tommy as he's going to go from the stretch once again.
And you got to be looking for that squeeze once again.
And that ball's right on the corner outside.
Yeah, good pitch. And McPherson obviously has not shied away from bunting this inning with 2 strikes.
No, they have not. And the squeeze play was huge for them as well.
Yes, no doubt.
A couple of plays loom large here this inning, as there's a couple of bunts that were misplayed and a foul ball that could have potentially been caught to garner some outs. However, we still have 0 outs with a man on second and third. Slaver from the stretch, and that ball is strike 3, right at the knees. The umpire's been calling that all day.
Yeah, that umpire's been given, like I said, a fairly big zone on the day, and if Sign's going to get that call, then Tommy certainly expects it.
So good work from Slava as he records the first out, and at top of the lineup for the Bulldogs as Trevor Haycock.
Yeah, they're going to intentionally walk him, actually, as he hit a bomb in the other day off Slava, and they do not want to allow him to do that again.
And with first base open, you have to believe that that sets up the double play ball for the Blue Jays, as a double play would get them out of the inning.
Yeah, and you can't imagine that the catcher, Dominic Ramos, who's now up to bat, has that much speed. So certainly a better scenario for Tabor here is they can get out of the inning in just 1 pitch.
Traditionally, catchers don't possess too much speed, and traditionally they don't hit in the 2-hole, so that's already unique for the Blue Jay catcher.
True. As that fastball's thrown by Ramos as he swings through it. Not the prettiest swing either, might I add, for strike 1.
Tommy's fastball is looking good today on a 36-degree day, and another swing and a miss, 0-2 count.
Yeah, it looks like he just throws just a little bit too hard for Ramos, as he's obviously late on the ball.
So if you're a Vicentine, what sign are you giving Tommy right now?
I'm throwing another fastball. There's no way I'd give him anything else.
Let's see if he comes in with the high heater again. And another fastball right at the number.
Yeah, high, just like you expected it would be. It'll be interesting to see if Tommy goes to that curveball. He doesn't throw it a whole lot, but a strikeout would obviously be huge here.
With a runner on third, you do not want to risk anything in the dirt getting past Vicentine, as that's already happened today to score a run. And that one barely getting contact. That fouls it up over the first base dugout.
Ramos finally looking like he's starting to catch up to the fastball. Took him a few pitches to do it, so we'll see if he can make an adjustment and put one in play this time.
Tommy definitely bringing in a different type of velocity that we have seen today.
Yeah, Tommy easily the hardest thrower for Tabor. As his last outing, he was clocked up to 93 miles an hour.
And he brings that breaking ball to the outside corner. That runs the count to 2-2, so Tommy needs to deliver across the plate right here.
Yeah, and with him throwing a curveball for a ball, there's no doubt in my mind that he's throwing a fastball here.
And so let's see if the catcher from McPherson, Ramos, can catch up to it. Tommy from the stretch delivers another foul ball back, so he is battling in there after two ugly swings and misses to start the at-bat.
Yeah, like I said, he's looks like he's starting to adjust to the velocity. If you're Slava here, you're probably looking to use that to your advantage, however, to let him roll over into a ground ball.
Tommy Slava from the stretch. Another fastball. He does not check his swing. His second strikeout of the inning. Oh, I believe,
Yeah, he certainly went, and he was trying to play it off that there's no doubt in his mind that he didn't swing, but the umpire right away called it as a swing.
So McPherson batter Dominic Ramos could not check his swing, but try to, like you said, play it off and stay in the box. But the umpire at home didn't even offer to ask the first base umpire if he didn't. So no doubt in our minds that he did swing.
And that'll bring Fleming up, as you touched on earlier. Has had a great day at the plate and is their best hitter on the year overall.
A great matchup, power on power. Tommy delivers that fastball a little bit low.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Fleming is that he's fairly far up in the box. His front foot is almost at that front line. Especially with a hard thrower throwing, you'd expect him to be towards the back.
Let's see how it works out for Mr. Fleming as he digs in. Fastball. No, we're close for Fleming as he swings and tries to check his swing. 1-1 count with 2 outs.
Yeah, umpire called it a strike. It looked like on the check swing, so it might have been a ball too if he wouldn't have offered.
McPherson has already scored 2 runs in this inning, but Tommy Slava has came in and minimized the damage so far. A breaking ball, swing and a miss.
Yeah, Tommy's been working on that breaking ball lately, and he actually struck 2 guys out on it on Friday. So good to see him have more confidence in it today and get a big swing and miss there. Let's see if he can get one more.
And at this level, it is hard for a batter to have a pitcher like Tommy come in throwing that hard and trying to get adjusted to his fastball, and Tommy comes in with that curveball, which is considerably slower.
Throws another one, and good leave by Fleming. That's probably right where Tommy wanted to throw it, honestly.
That was a good location, 2-2 count with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. McPherson Bulldogs leading Tabor 3-1.
Got to be expecting a fastball here if you're Fleming, as he's got to throw you a strike, and fastball's the pitch he's most confident in.
And a swing and a miss at the high heat. Tommy Slava comes in and strikes out 3 batters in an inning.
Yeah, Tommy doing exactly what he needed to do. Got unfortunate scenario with that squeeze, but gets himself out of it.
He came into a tough situation. However, when the half inning is closed, McPherson's up 3-1. We go to the bottom of the 9th with the Tabor Blue Jays coming up. Coming out, back out for the Bulldogs is the freshman, Javier Sainz, who has stymied the Blue Jay bat so far today. Leading off of the Blue Jays is their second baseman, number 55, Jaden Alsop. And for a pitcher coming in, pitching a total of 6 innings on the day, to have a complete game potentially is huge.
As he falls behind on the first pitch on fastball away, yeah, what he's done today has been absolutely incredible. And if his parents are watching this, they obviously must be proud.
And a ball a little bit high, goes to 2-0. Good patience by Alsop. They do have that pitcher in the bullpen warming up, so any signs of struggling here in the 9th inning for signs. They have a guy, and Alsop offers at the first pitch, pops it into shallow center field. Center fielder Riley Martin able to corral that for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Alsop's got to be kicking himself there. 2-0 pitch, it's got to be a pitch you can drive, especially in the 9th inning when you're down by 2, and to put that kind of swing on it's got to be disappointing for him. As we'll see a pinch hitter in Sammy Silva for Dominic Vicentine. Probably a good scenario for the Blue Jays, as Dom has struggled today with 3 infield pop-ups.
Sammy Silva, and he offers at the first pitch, and that ball is bounced over the first baseman's head, so the tying run will come to the plate with the man that you want. And Yo-Yo Alicea, the young man from San Juan, Puerto Rico, already has 14 home runs in the year, and that would be exactly what the doctor ordered right now.
Yeah, off the bat right there, that looked disappointing, as it looked like it was going to be a routine play for the first baseman, but it took a very bad hop on him where it actually ended up bouncing over his head. And there's nothing that Fleming could do about it at first base.
That very well maybe scored as a hit, because that hop, like you mentioned, was nasty. But anyways, Yo-Yo digging in, takes the ball outside, and right now they could very well pitch around Yo-Yo, and that could just bring the winning run to the plate, which you don't want either way. So right now it's a good scenario for the Blue Jays to get back into this ball game.
Another ball is Yo-Yo putting himself in a good situation, being up 2-0. Let's see if he can convert here.
And the wind is still blowing from left to right. And a ball low, 3-0 count. Would you give him the green light here in the 9th inning?
3-0, that's tough. I mean, this is your best hitter. He probably does have the green light, honestly.
Sammy Silva with a respectable lead off first. And an offering outside. So that brings the winning run to the plate for the Blue Jays as Freddie Walker digs in.
Yeah, probably the best choice by Signs right there to just throw a ball 4. You don't want to throw a pitch down the middle, as it looks like that McPherson's going to bring in Jake Herman out of the bullpen, like I said, who is warming up earlier. And Jake Herman is 1-0 on the year with a 1.0 ERA in 10 innings. Not sure if he's their closer, though.
Yeah, and just another guy who's pitched minimal innings for the Bulldogs this year.
Yeah, he's certainly not their closer, as he has 0 saves on the year. So put him in a big scenario here.
And for the Blue Jays, you have Freddie Walker, who's already homered in this series, but then the big threat you have is Jackson Hoagie, the senior from Canada, who has already had a deep double in the game. With right now, with 2 men on base, you don't need a home run to tie the game up, but a long ball would win it.
Yeah, and with Jackson Hoagie especially, he's been another big hitter for the Blue Jays this year, as he's batting above 400, I believe.
Jackson is batting above 400, and Sammy has been swinging the bat well recently for the Blue Jays. Yeah,
and Herman definitely in a tough situation here. For somebody that's only thrown 10 innings on the year. He started 1 game this year against Manhattan Christian where he threw 6 innings. In that game he gave up 0 earned runs.
So 6 of his 10 innings have came in 1 game.
Yes. He's actually has not given up an earned run since his very first outing on the year, which was against Ottawa. So he hasn't thrown a whole lot this year, maybe due to injury. We don't have a whole lot of information on that. But he did well in the month of March, but has not thrown since the 4th.
And the velocity he's coming in with is not the velocity we saw with Tommy Slava for the Blue Jays, so I would suspect it's low 80s.
Yeah, but it looks a little bit harder than the signs. It might be exactly what Freddie Walker needs, though. as he looked a little bit off on his swings earlier.
So as a hitter coming up in this situation, would you be patient and make him throw a strike coming in out of the bullpen?
If I'm a hitter, if I see a pitch down the middle, I'm going to swing. That's just how it goes. You don't want to gift pitchers strikes. Anytime somebody does that to me, I thank them. As if they're going to take a fastball down the middle, go for it.
Freddie Walker digs in here in the bottom of the ninth, down 2, 1 out. Ball in the dirt. Good stop by Ramos as he didn't block it. He backhanded it, so an opportunity for it to get to the backstop.
Yeah, like I said, always risky to backhand those balls in the dirt, but you know, he did not have to pay the price for it, as it was just a I don't know. It looked like it could have been a slider.
So 1-0 count and a strike right down Main Street.
Yeah, fastball inside there. It looked like Freddie was probably taking a strike there.
The pitcher Fleming from the stretch looks back. The runner at second fires in there. Freddie fouls it into the third base dugout. I beg your pardon. Herman is the pitcher. So a 1-2 count here with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Center fielder Freddie Walker digging in.
Yeah, big scenario here. You wanna make sure you don't hit into a double play and not let Jax get a chance at bat.
And a ball in the dirt. Ramos couldn't locate it for a second.
Yeah, pretty good block by the umpire there, as it actually got past Ramos and hit the umpire in the leg. And without the umpire, it certainly would have ended up in the backstop.
That's potentially a huge play here, because that would allow the runners to go to second and third, and the 4 out would not be an option, and 2 runners in scoring position. Freddie Walker drills that one to deep right center field. It has a chance to get out of here. No, it is off the top of the wall. Uh-oh. And so
Sammy, I'm not quite sure what he was doing there. Sammy only went halfway between second and third, where Yo-Yo actually, when he rounded second base, didn't even take another step because he saw Sammy was only halfway to third.
So a base running error there for the Blue Jays that cost them a run, as Freddie Walker hit the top of the right field wall.
Yeah, Sammy's got to be kicking himself over there, as there's absolutely no reason for him to ever think about tagging there. As their coach is arguing about something at first base, but I'm not quite sure.
A runner may have perhaps ran over a base and not touched it. I can't believe what they're talking about right now.
Yeah, the only thing I can maybe think about is that Mark Poole, the first base coach, physically put his hand out to stop Freddie from going to second base, but that would be the only thing I could think about.
And that is what they were arguing. The umpires come out and say that there was no foul on the play, nothing awry, as we have the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Drama ensuing here at Tabor College in Hillsboro, Kansas, as Jackson Hoagie, the power hitting right-hander from the Great White North, is coming to the plate with an opportunity here to tie the game potentially and win it.
Yeah, this is the scenario you want to be in as a senior. Big scenario where you need a base hit, and just all the pieces in play.
Jake Herman delivers a nice breaking ball, caught Hoagie off balance a little bit.
Yeah, looked like he hung the slider a little bit there, but Hoagie was certainly looking for a fastball, so didn't offer at it.
And going back to the long single hit by Freddie Walker, Alisea was already, and that ball is driven down the left field line, and that is going to score 2 runs easily. Freddie Walker on his way to third, and the game is tied here in the bottom of the 9th inning as Jackson Hoagie delivers, the senior from Canada, with one of the biggest hits of his career.
Yes, Sammy once again actually going back to tag at third base, even though there was absolutely zero chance of that ball being caught. So it looked like he may be a little bit panicking out there, but Tabor gets 2 runs in with another senior coming back up to the plate, where Graham Wiebe will re-enter for Cody Steinman.
That is an unconventional sequence right there, especially for Sammy Silva, who did go back to third base, as you pointed out,
and they're gonna intentionally walk Graham Wiebe to bring up Cameron Pope, which, you know, I don't quite agree with this. While you do set up the double play at home plate and make it easier to get Freddie out at home, now you force your pitcher not to be able to walk him. Like, as a pitcher, you have to throw strikes here, and some pitchers, that pressure can get to them.
So Herman from the windup almost hit Pope, and that would have ended the game.
Yeah, and that's just like what I touched on, where you're forcing a guy to throw strikes. It can kind of bite you in the butt.
And the shortstop and second baseman for the Bulldogs are playing in double play depth, so they're and that ball is drilled to left field, and this game will be over.
And that's the ball game, folks. A great job by Tabor to come back there in the ninth. Two guys doing a great job. Three guys, really, where Freddie started it off with that great hit to right. And then you had Jax hitting that great double down the line. And then, obviously, Pope doing his job there.
Putting the ball
getting
in the
a sac
outfield.
fly in the outfield.
And it all started when Tommy Slava came in the top of the ninth inning with runners in scoring positions already to limit the damage with 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, no doubt. Big scenario, and that's a big game for Tabor, as losing that would have put them in 3rd place, where now they're tied for 2nd with Friends, with an upcoming 3-game series against Friends at Friends next weekend.
And with a game that saw 2 runs through 8 innings combined, in the 9th innings there was a total of 5-run score, so definitely an exciting ending to a game that was a pitcher's duel all the way until the end.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank all the viewers out there for listening to us. Obviously a very exciting game, and I'm sure you could hear the background sounds of all the people upstairs here in the press box at Tabor College.
And a cold day in Hillsboro, Kansas in April, and it's a win for the Blue Jays. The next home game coming up will be against Peru State on the 25th of April. And we will be back here broadcasting that game as Tabor plays Friends this coming weekend in a 3-game series that will feature Friends, who is ranked, and Tabor, who is receiving votes. And they also go to Oklahoma City and play the 9th-ranked team in the country. So thank you for tuning in today, and a good win for Tabor.